Yes, it's finally time. It's finally time for our next giant puzzle. Oh my gosh. Okay, we have 2 bags of 4,000 pieces. I'm gonna mix them. You know I'm gonna mix them. You know I had to mix them. This is it, no going back. Oh my gosh. I did it. Oh my gosh, what have I gotten myself into? All right, so the giant puzzle that I've chosen to do this time is an 8,000 piece puzzle called 2,000 Years. That's very confusing. Whenever you search for this puzzle online, you just get a bunch of 2,000 piece puzzles that come up, but I managed to get my hands on one. And I just think this image is so cool. And it comes in this giant triangle box. This is made by the company Heye. All their puzzles, I think, come in these triangle boxes, which I've seen in puzzle stores over in Europe. I haven't really seen them here in America. So this is actually the first Heye puzzle that I'm ever gonna solve. Perfect one to start with, right? 8,000 pieces all mixed together. So here on the back of the box, you can see the full image. It's essentially an illustrated timeline of the last 2,000 years. The art is by Marino Degano, and I'm gonna go more into all of the details of the illustration as we get into it. For now, let's look at the pieces because, as I said, I've never done a Heye puzzle before. So they have a light green backing. I think they look very pretty all mixed together. I feel like the cardboard isn't quite as thick as maybe Ravensburger's or some other ones that I've done, but it still feels pretty solid, so I think it'll be fine. And the finish has a little bit of a sheen, but it's not super glossy. Now, I bought this secondhand, and the pieces seem brand new. The pieces seem totally fine. I can't really say that about the poster. This has definitely been through it. It's a little worn out, but we have a nice big image of the whole illustration. And then on the back, we have a whole quiz about history. I'll look at this closer, probably at the very end of the puzzle. For now, we need to actually start putting it together. Actually, no, we can't start putting it together until we start sorting. So we need to start sorting. Oh my gosh, I'm so happy to be doing another giant puzzle. This makes me so happy. I'm so excited. Oh no, as I was moving the box around to get all those close-up shots, I kept hearing something move around inside. And look at what I found. Oh, that would have been really bad if I had left one piece in the box. Oh my gosh, today's the day. It's finally puzzle day. All right, it is officially day 1 of the 8,000 piece puzzle. Usually when I sort a giant puzzle, it takes me about half an hour per 1,000 pieces. So I think we're looking at about 4 hours of sorting. I already have some ideas of how I'm gonna sort everything, but you never know for sure until you're sitting down and really looking at the pieces. So Let's see how this goes. All right, here we go. First piece is sorted. No. Ah. No. Oh my God. There we go. All right, 2 down, 7,998 to go. I think we're about halfway through the sorting. I just took like an hour off for lunch, which I definitely needed, because this is the point where I'm just questioning all of my life choices. It's like, how are there still this many pieces left? Oh my gosh, I've been over these last few pieces too many times. Everything else is just going in the miscellaneous box. I don't even care anymore. I've pulled out anything obvious. Oh no, the miscellaneous box is definitely overflowing. All right, there we go. Oh, this makes me really nervous. Okay, the sorting is finally done, and my prediction was correct. That was 3 hours and 50 minutes of sorting. Not all the way straight through though. I did stop and take a bunch of breaks. It was actually 8 separate starting and stopping segments. But anyway, let me take you through, let me show you how I sorted everything. Okay, so here's everything that we're working with. I actually didn't even use this tray. That might be the first time that I had an extra sorting tray. I didn't make that many piles actually. So I think the most obvious one is this middle section where it says the year 2000. So that's what I'm gonna be starting with tomorrow. In here we have all the edge pieces and then the border that butts right up against the edge. And then in here we have more of those border pieces, but without really much on them. So I'm not sure exactly which border they're going to be a part of, because I double checked the picture. And so you have this border here, which only has 1 line of each color. And then you also have a very similar border, but it has 2 of the tan lines. So I think when I look at that more closely, I will be able to tell apart which pieces go where. Okay, so that's these 4. Then we have all the blue pieces. So this is going to be all of the skies that are here in all of the corners. And I also thought that I might be able to sort out all of these pieces, the illustrations that are in the corners. And so that's what all of these pieces are. It's pieces with enough going on all across the entire piece without any of that light tan background color. But this was harder than I thought. I think I missed a lot of them. I think a lot of them are over here in the miscellaneous box. And I also think a lot of these pieces might be these illustrations that just happen to take up an entire puzzle piece. So I'll be able to do all the skies, filling in all of these corners. I might not be able to do that right away. Up here, I have just a really small board. So this is all of the red pieces. That's gonna be like these red squares. That should be pretty quick to put together. And then, okay, these last two boxes are so overwhelming. As I kept putting more and more pieces into them, I was just like, oh no, this is so many. This is so many to sort out later. So in here, we have an overflowing tray of any piece that has the white box on them. So that's gonna be all of these labels. Now, once I start working on it, I will be able to sort out the curved ones from the straight ones, but it's still a lot more pieces than I was expecting. And then similarly over here, we have the miscellaneous box, which is a Ravensburger 1,000-piece box bottom that's completely full. You know, like this is way more than 1,000 pieces. So that's gonna be all of these little illustrations. I'm pretty sure once I get to that part, it's gonna become very much a pick and place type of puzzle. But here's the thing, those two boxes, those are future me's problem. Current me doesn't even have to look at them. That's not my problem right now. Current me is gonna work on the easy parts first. So tomorrow morning, once I'm fresh and awake again, I'm gonna try to do this entire middle section. I think that's gonna be really fun. But before I get to day 2, I just wanted to quickly show you guys my new background. So you might remember from that video where I did the 5,000 piece puzzle that this wall used to be just a endless gray expanse. And I didn't want that for filming this video. I knew I had to do something. I knew I had to get rid of the gray, but I just couldn't decide on a wall color. So I'm still thinking about that. I'm still trying to figure it out. In the meantime, I hired a professional painter to come in and just give a coat of white over all of the gray, like the most basic standard white. I just needed a clean blank canvas to work off of. So then I put up these dark wood shelves. I really wanted to change it up from the white shelves, and I love it. I think it looks really good. And plus, as a bonus, it opened up a lot of new puzzle storage, which I definitely needed. And so this apartment redecoration project isn't gonna happen overnight. Like, this corner is looking good, but I have a lot more projects that I want to do all around the space, including I have a vision of a gallery wall, and the centerpiece of that gallery wall is gonna be this framed puzzle. So I got this from Preserve My Puzzle, and they are the sponsors of this video. They can turn any puzzle into a professional work of art. Here's how it works. You solve whatever puzzle you want. I went with this pomegranate puzzle with artwork by Hilma Off Clint, and then they send you a kit in the mail. You flip the puzzle over and use the sticker paper that they sent to keep it all together. And then there's this trifold board, kind of like a science fair board. It has these sticky strips, so you place your puzzle inside, and then the sides stick down around it. And then the kit also comes with a bag with a mailing label already attached. So you just put the puzzle in the bag and send it off. It's very easy. Trust me, anyone can do it. And then a little while later, you'll get the laminated puzzle in the mail. You can either choose to have it laminated like this or put into a frame. Also, I just want to say, they told me that they were going to be sending me one of each so that I could show them in this video. And so I assumed the laminated one would just be like a stock photo of some kind. But no, they got the exact same puzzle. Someone on their team must have solved it. And then they sent that to me so that I could really show you guys the difference between the two methods. I'm glad I picked a relatively easy one, but this is important. I want to be totally clear about this. This process is permanent. You can never go back. You'll never be able to take it apart and solve it again. So I wouldn't do this with a vintage or a rare puzzle, but I think this is perfect for a custom puzzle of a family photo or a wedding photo or a photo of your pet. I think it would be the perfect holiday present to give someone a custom puzzle and then also this kit so that they can preserve it. And like, yes, of course, you could just glue the puzzle and put it in a frame yourself, but I'm at the point in my life where I just want to pay someone to do it right the first time. You know, like with painting the apartment, I could have done it myself, but it was so nice to just hire a professional who already knew what they were doing and had all the supplies. And same thing with this. Like, you can just send it off and you don't even have to think about it. And then you get back in the mail a perfectly preserved finished piece. It's even washable with Windex, so it can really be like an heirloom piece that you display for years and years and years. So stay tuned to see what color I end up deciding to paint the walls and then to see the gallery wall once it's up. But in the meantime, if you want to try this yourself, the website is preservemypuzzle.com and you can use code Karen10 for 10% off. And I'm also going to put all of that info down in the description. Okay, my first attempt for the first two pieces. This is going to determine if we're going to have good or bad luck for the rest of the puzzle. Here we go. Yes, good luck. All right, 2 down, 7,998 to go. 7,997 to go. 7,996. Okay, I need to stop doing this. All right, we're 2.5 hours in. This is my progress so far. I think that's looking pretty good. I definitely could have just sat there and knocked through the entire thing and finished it all in one go, but I was getting really hungry, so I just stopped and had a lunch break. But you can see that I have everything left already shape sorted, so I really don't think it's gonna take that much longer to finish off the rest of this. Oh my gosh, that took 4 hours in total to get this center area done. And this is why you do so much sorting Look at that. I mean, I missed a couple where you have larger elements that take up most of the piece, but I pulled pretty much everything from this entire section. I think that's really good. Oh, and this is everything that I pulled incorrectly. So these will have to get resorted a little later. Now, I feel like I already learned a lot about the piece cut, and there are a few kind of interesting things that I want to show you guys, but I'm so tired at the moment. That wore me out. So I'm just going to go back to puzzling. I'm just going to do all the red squares, which I think should be pretty fast. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I got all of them except for one. Okay, that's gonna be so satisfying when I do find it. But that only took me 13 minutes, so as I expected, this part was not hard. Oh my gosh, that was another hour and a half of puzzling, and this is not an easy puzzle. My brain is tired, my body is tired. We're only on day 2 and I'm already so exhausted. So I'm just gonna leave it here for now, and then tomorrow I'll show you what's been going on. So I'm not going to be working on the puzzle today. I just wanted to hop back in really quick to show you why it has been more challenging than I expected. So the main issue that I ran into is that the piece cut repeats over the 2 halves. So right here, you can see the line where the 2 halves are joining in the middle, and the pieces don't line up perfectly on the corners like they do on the rest of the piece cut. So it took me kind of a while to realize that all of these actually did go together. But it means that every single piece of this puzzle has a twin on the opposite side where they can fit perfectly. So I had to look really, really closely to make sure that the pattern was lining up on every single piece. And I definitely had a few cases while I was working on it of having pieces swapped around and then not knowing why the pattern wasn't going where I thought it was going to go. So that was really tricky. And it was the exact same thing with the blue pieces. Since this puzzle is so symmetrical, this piece cut is exactly the same, and so I kept having pieces mixed up between these 2 sections and needing to sort them back out. Luckily, and I don't know how well you can see this on camera, but this half is a little bit darker than this half, so that really helped. If they were the exact same color, I don't know that I would have ended up with every single piece correct, because there would just be no way to know. Now, to be clear, I'm not blaming the company for this. You know, if I had done the puzzle the way it was intentioned, doing it one half at a time, I wouldn't have this problem. It's just what happens when you mix a giant puzzle all together. Like, on top of having even more pieces, you end up with double piece cuts. However, I did also have a handful of false fits. Like, that definitely doesn't go there, but it looks like it might be able to go there. And this isn't because of the piece cut repeating, it was just a piece in the entirely wrong place. And that's because this piece cut isn't the most unique. Like, I'm getting there in the end, but it's just a little more brain power than if, you know, the piece shapes were a little more varied from each other. And finally, since this is such a big puzzle board and it takes up almost this entire space, I'm pretty cramped over here. So I haven't been able to work on it for that long at a time without getting up to stretch and look at something else. I'm hoping that once I get more done and it starts taking up the entire board, that I'll be able to move around and be stretching over the board a little bit more, and that should help. And I'm also taking rest days, like today, where I'm just like editing and doing other things and not leaning over the puzzle. So, okay, I'm not really here. I'm not working on it today. I'll be back when I'm actually gonna get back to it. Alright, I was working on that from 8:15 until 10:30, and it has been kind of slow going, but I think I'm really making progress, so let me show you what I've done, what's coming up next. So obviously, the main thing that I did was finish all the sky and get these two curves really mapped out. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. Oh my god. I was just getting down off the chair from filming that shot, and I hit the board with my knee, and it like went up and down, and now there are pieces everywhere. Okay, hang on one sec. Oh, this is so sad. Okay, that could have been a lot worse. Everything that I put together seems to have survived. What went flying were these pieces down here, which are the outline when it butts up against the white labels, but I hadn't started putting those together yet, so I can just flip them back over. This is It's fine. It's fine. Anyway, what I was gonna be talking about before that little interruption is that after I finished all of the skies, I started working on this inner outline. So here you can see some of the pieces that I haven't figured out yet. And then down here you can see how it's gonna form the bottom of this corner illustration. So we can really start getting a sense of what the height of this puzzle is going to be. Oh, and then over here, I separated all of these or outline pieces that have that inner border. I separated them from the ones that are just the pattern. That one didn't quite sort. All right, that goes over there. Yesterday, I had a friend who stopped by and she saw this board and she was just like, oh no, that looks so hard. And it's definitely like I'm definitely gonna have to be looking really, really closely to make sure that the pattern is lining up with every single piece to make sure I don't have the pieces swapped between halves of the puzzle. But the thing with these is that basically on every side of the puzzle, the outline hits the piece in a different place. So for this one, it's basically running exactly halfway through, but then we also have some where you just have the blue and the red, and then there's some like this one where you just have the red. So that makes it a lot easier to sort them out. Oh, and then over here, this should be another really easy and quick section. I separated these orange boxes. There's one of these in the middle of every outline. So I should be able to get those together and then, you can keep building the outline off of that. All right, I'm loving this. I'm having a great time. I'm so excited to keep working on it for the rest of the day. The question now becomes, when do I start rearranging and putting things actually in place on the board for how they're going to be for the finished puzzle? And I don't think I'm quite there yet. I think for now I'm going to keep working here so I can see both of them within arm's reach of each other. But I think by the end of the day, I might have the whole thing kind of outlined out. All right, I just did another hour and a half, and then I stopped for a lunch break. But before I get back to it, I wanted to show you guys some kind of interesting things that I've discovered. Okay, first, I was so confused about how these edge pieces would fit into the puzzle, and it turns out they're just in the middle of the puzzle like that. You can see another set right there. I was not expecting that. I'm sure it has something to do with how they had to, like, this is right on the edge of the die, like halfway down the puzzle, but I was not expecting that. That was a really fun surprise that I like. But then over here, I started finding, again, multiple pieces that are the exact same cut that can all fit seamlessly together, except it's not just two. I actually found three of some of them. So that makes me think there's probably a fourth and that each piece is repeated 4 times. So when I'm doing all these lines, I've had to look super, super carefully to make sure that everything is lining up perfectly. And so these 2 segments are the exact same piece cuts. Oh, but also look at how similar some of them are. Like, if you put this one in here, it almost lines up with the line almost perfectly. So I've really had to look really, really closely. And then over here, so these are what's left of the illustrated pieces that have a little bit of the border on them. But I ran out of pieces with 2 outs. All that I have left are 2 ins, so none of these can fit together. And same thing over here. So that's these pieces down here. It's this bottom edge where the labels are right up against that inside border. But again, I only have 2 of these out pieces and I have all of these in pieces. So I think I'm missing quite a few of them. So I'm pretty sure that all of that either got mixed in with the white label pieces or into the miscellaneous box. So I kind of thought I wouldn't have to touch either of these until the border was done, but maybe I didn't sort quite as carefully as I thought. Okay, it's finally time. I've been putting this off for as long as I could, but it's finally time to get everything arranged geographically. Things aren't quite as solid as I was hoping they would be, so this might be kind of a mess. This is gonna be really hard. Wish me luck. All right, I think that's going to be it for day 3. It's about 4 p.m. I think this is a good stopping point. But look, it's finally starting to look like a real puzzle. Of course, I am really intimidated now by just how much empty space there's left for me to fill in. But just like I said before, that is future me's problem. For now, I think I'm actually in pretty good shape to finish up the rest of the edge. So that'll be my next project. I do have one fun fact to share with you guys though. I didn't actually measure to make sure that this puzzle would fit on this board. What I did is I looked at the pieces. I saw that they were about the same size as the Ravensburger pieces, and I made this board specifically to fit a 9,000 piece Ravensburger puzzle. And so I figured if it's gonna fit a 9,000, it has to also fit an 8,000. Luckily I was right. If I had been incorrect, that would have been really bad, but I think we're okay. Oh my gosh, I was just putting everything on the table so I don't knock into them on the counter. Look what is sitting right on top of the miscellaneous box. I can't believe I found it that easily. That's so satisfying. Okay, it is day 4 of the 8,000 piece puzzle. Today is going to be Just a comfy, cozy, simple day. I'm getting started a little bit later in the day because I'm hoping that today is only going to be a half day of puzzling. And that's because my only goal for today is to finish the border all the way around. So you can see I have this inner border mostly put together already, but then we have a line of just this curly pattern and then the edge pieces. And so these are the only 3 trays that I'm concerning myself with. So here we have the rest of those inner border pieces, then we have all of the curly pieces, and then all of the edge pieces. So it's gonna be a little tedious because all of it kind of looks the same, but there aren't actually that many pieces compared to everything in the middle, so I think it'll be okay. And there are some differences in this curly pattern. So you can see this piece is pretty bright. That kind of matches what's going on down here, but then this piece is kind of blurry. So even though they might seem very similar to each other, I think the pattern is unique enough that if I pay close enough attention and look really closely, I shouldn't have false fits, or I shouldn't have pieces swapped between the 2 halves of the puzzle. Oh, okay, I just came across these pieces again, and there's one more thing I wanted to mention. So when I first dumped out all of the pieces, there actually were kind of a lot of freebies, and I did take all of them apart, so I was really doing this completely from scratch, except for this one, where the pieces really are, like, it wasn't cut all the way through, they really are still connected together. So those I decided to just leave. Oh my gosh, I did it. That was, I don't even know, like 5 hours straight of just working on that border. Oh my god, that was so hard. Oh, everything hurts. My back hurts. Everything hurts. So that's where I'm gonna leave it for this video. Yesterday though, even though I said I thought it might just be a half day, it was actually my second longest day so far. I guess it just felt quicker since I wasn't narrating quite as much, but it is so satisfying to have the border pretty much finished and have a real frame to work within. So I actually pulled out the tape measure just to double check all of the measurements. And so the final puzzle is going to be 6 feet 3 inches wide by 4 feet 6 inches tall. Also, now that I have the border done, I can confirm how many times the die cut repeats. I'm pretty sure it's 4 times, so each quadrant would be the same die cut repeated. Like you can see here, this edge piece that comes from halfway through perfectly fits into the corner piece spot. So that means that even if I hadn't mixed the bags, I still would have been dealing with doubles of every single piece shape. But I have a few stats so far. So I've put in 21.5 hours so far. And here you can see how that breaks down over the 4 days. So I'm not doing the 11-hour days that I have done in the past. And that's partly because it's later in the year, so we have fewer hours of daylight than we would have in the middle of summer. But also, if I had one word to describe this puzzle, it would be fiddly. At least the parts I've done so far have just been so symmetrical and repetitive that after 5 or 6 hours of it, I'm just completely exhausted. Oh, and then I wasn't sure if I was actually gonna figure this out, but I really wanted to know, so I counted how many pieces I've put in so far, and it is 2,399. So I'm not even a third of the way through. But here's what I want to know from you. Now that you've seen this much of the puzzle take me 21.5 hours, I want you to predict what you think my final time is going to be. So that should be in hours and minutes. I'm not counting seconds for this one. And then when I film the final video where I do finish it, I'm gonna give a shout out to whoever guessed closest. Oh, and your code word for the comments will be timeline. So it looks like these boxes are about to become current me's problem. I do have a few ideas for how I'm gonna tackle them, so stay tuned and wish me luck.